on.
Hi, Jaimee MacDougal from ADP.
Hi, I'm Patty.
Hi, nice to meet you, Patty. Do you mind if I have a seat and
Yeah,
put my
sure.
Thank you. And I did just want to give you a copy of my business card
Okay.
also.
I'm actually, my husband's probably the person you need to be meeting with.
Okay.
We just bought the company about 2 weeks ago. So he's
Absolutely.
probably the person you want to be meeting with. So let me go grab him, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Hi,
Hi, Jaimee MacDougal. I'm a sales rep from ADP.
Brandon Cook.
Nice to meet you. Do you mind if I take a seat?
No, not at all. I didn't realize we had a meeting set up today, but
I'm so
I
sorry
got
about
some time
that.
to meet real quick. Though.
Would 20 minutes still be okay for today's meeting?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. And here's a copy of my business card. That way, if you have any questions after today's meeting, you can feel free to reach out to me.
Okay.
And so from what I understand, your wife said that you just bought the company.
We did.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
I
much.
just wanted to give you an ADP yo-yo, just so you remember we'll be with you for all the ups and downs that come with running the business.
Very nice.
And the last time I had met, I had spoken with Taylor, and she said that we might be able to get a meeting in today.
Okay.
So hopefully that still works for you.
Sure.
And I just wanted to see how business has been since you've taken it over.
Good. We, trying to get our feet wet and trying to understand everything.
Absolutely.
But we've got 3 other locations.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of part-time employees and we've got a few full-time employees.
Absolutely. And I confirmed with you that 20 minutes is okay for the meeting. So
Sure.
in order to use our time more efficiently, I'd just like to describe an agenda for today's meeting, if that's okay. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Jumping Jungle, get a better understanding of what it is that you guys do, tell you a little bit about ADP and the products and services that we offer.
Sure.
And then if it sounds like something that would benefit your company, have ADP run your next payroll. How does that sound?
Sure. We're actually called Jump World now because we
Okay.
took over the business. So
Awesome.
We purchased it.
So then we'll make that mental note right there. Now, do you mind if I take notes throughout this meeting just to keep track of everything?
Not at all.
Great. Now, since you did just buy out the business, if you guys were to make a decision, who would be involved in making that?
Myself and my wife.
Okay, great. So, is there a specific criteria that you guys use to decide what you're going to invest in with your company?
No, it's pretty reactive.
Okay, so it just really depends on what they're bringing in and what they can offer.
Correct.
Okay, absolutely. And from what I understood the last time I was here, the business had been open for 2 years, but obviously you guys have been open for a little bit longer, taking it over. Are there still the 12 employees, or have you guys brought in more people?
No, it's still the 12 employees right now, and then we have 2 full-time at each space.
And
So there's about 14 in each one.
okay, great. So there's a total of 14 employees. And could you explain to me a little bit more about their roles with the company?
Sure. The part-time employees are mainly just high school kids,
Okay.
and they kind of do the day-to-day and just run the business for us. And then I've got 2 full-time staff, usually one on site at a time, who just acts as a manager.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the administrative tasks with this business, who's in charge of those things, such as payroll and HR and taxes?
Lisa does a lot of that, my wife.
So Lisa does all 3, or are you a part of that as well?
I'm a part of it, but yeah, Lisa does mainly the payroll and the taxes and stuff.
Absolutely. Now, the last time I had spoken with Taylor before she had left, she had mentioned that they were using QuickBooks. Is that the same software that you're currently using?
Yeah, we're using QBooks or whatever, yeah.
And how is that working for you guys?
Okay, we've got 3 kids at home.
Absolutely.
So Lisa's kind of all over the place, trying to run a household as well as, run the books of a business.
Absolutely.
So she usually uses, go to my PC
Right.
to dial in and do the payroll.
Okay, so she can still do it from outside of the office, if I'm understanding correctly?
Correct.
Okay. And could you walk me through a little bit of the process that Lisa's currently using, about how long it takes her?
Sure. It takes her about 6 hours to do it because she's got to again drop it, go back to it,
Right.
drop it, go back to it, and then she also has to she Googles a lot of the laws and regulations to stay up on that stuff.
Okay, and how often is your payroll processed?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. So what I'm understanding is that you both are extremely busy, especially having 3 kids at home. Would something that would allow her to process that payroll mobily and not having to worry about using GoToPC, but using one central application that could process all that information, be a little more beneficial to her?
Sure.
Okay, great. And then as well, I heard you mention that she does the HR and taxes as well. And is she using QuickBooks to keep track of all of that information?
Correct.
Okay, and I heard you also mention that she was using Google to keep track of all of those laws and regulations.
Right.
I understand that you're a business owner, but what I'm not sure if you know is that actually 1 in 4 small businesses incur a fine each year from the IRS.
Okay.
It's actually a study that's been done. And the great thing about working with ADP is that we can provide that peace of mind to you, that if anything were to change, you would be aware of those changes. And if there were to be a fine, you wouldn't have to be liable.
Okay.
From what I'm understanding with your wife doing all of that, if there were to be a fine, would you be the one who paid that?
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure that you could agree that would have a negative effect on your bottom line.
Oh, yeah.
So what this is a copy of our bond letter. We're
Okay.
one of the only bonded and insured companies in payroll at the moment. What this means to you is that we're liable for up to $25 million per occurrence. So if you were to get a fine while ADP was running your payroll, we would be completely liable for paying that fine. So it wouldn't have to come out of your company's money that you're working so hard to make.
Okay.
So I feel like that peace of mind would be something to just keep in the back of your head while we go through this presentation.
Sure.
So what I'm understanding is that time and mobility is extremely important to your company, as well as peace of mind of not having to be liable. I know that you just bought this out, so you have a lot of locations. Would integrating all of those locations be something that you would be looking into?
Yeah, that's what we're looking into right now, actually, because the other 3 are already integrated.
Absolutely. So integrating this 4th office in there would be a great benefit to the company.
Correct.
So if I could show you a product that would be able to integrate the company so you wouldn't have to worry about running on 2 different softwares, give your wife as well as yourself that time to spend with your family and your 3 kids, and take that liability off your shoulders for HR as well as tax compliance, would you be interested in hearing more?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to show you a quick spreadsheet that I put together for today's meeting, as well as go through a demo of what our payroll process entails, if that's
Okay.
all right with you. So you had mentioned that your wife is the one who does all this and that you currently have 12 employees. Would it be safe to assume that...
At each location.
Correct. So just for this location,
Oh, okay.
let's break it down, and then if we meet again, I can put together all 4 locations.
Okay.
I put together a spreadsheet. What this shows is the number of people that would be touching the payroll, you and your wife. Would it be safe to assume that you would say you make about $20 per hour, which would break into your salary each year?
Sure.
Okay. So what this annual savings in time would be for you is about $693.40 a year, just in time savings.
Okay.
Now, I know you had mentioned going in and keeping track of all the information. You said that she's dabbling in and out with all the time. Are they using time cards?
They actually do all handwritten, and
Okay.
so Lisa actually collects them from the managers at each place, and then she adds up everything.
So accuracy could be a big discrepancy that would happen throughout the payroll.
Yeah, that's why it takes us so long.
So another great thing about this spreadsheet that I put together breaks down the improved accuracy and how much you could save by outsourcing your payroll. You said that you currently have 12 employees, and I know that you said you have a majority of part-time. I had just put this at 40 hours, but because you do have a majority, I'll change that to about 25. Does that sound fair?
That's fair.
That they would work each week? So if I break this down to $25 per hour to your 12 employees, and just saying they make at least minimum wage, which would be $8 an hour, you said your payroll is bi-weekly, so it would be 26 periods. The money that you would save in improved accuracy would be $748.80 a year. So what this whole thing means for you is that by outsourcing your payroll, you could have a total annual savings of $1,442.20. And after the cost of our program, you would have a yearly return on investment of $554.20. So do you see how by improving your accuracy and giving you that time back, you'd be able to put an additional $555 into your business each year?
Sure.
Okay, great. And now I also mentioned I'd like to walk you through that payroll process. You had said that it currently takes 6 hours each payroll process to run the payroll, and that your wife is going away from it back to the kids and then back to the payroll. With our payroll system, it can be run on a tablet like this, as well
Okay.
as a smartphone or a desktop. So if you're in the office and she says, hey, can you look this up? You could hop right on the computer and see exactly what she's done from the house. So what this app is for you is our Run mobile application. It takes care of payroll as well as HR and our tax forms and tax compliance. So what you would do when you're running your payroll is click on this payroll app right here.
Okay.
it would take you to this first screen that is your start weekly payroll. For you, it would be bi-weekly, so that would change when we would implement it with your company.
Sure.
If you go ahead and hit on start weekly, what this means is that that's actually if you're going to do holiday hours.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. So if we just go back, we'll go to the start weekly payroll. That way it's just a little similar to what you'd be doing on a daily basis or a bi-weekly basis.
So this one.
Yeah. And now this page is going to pop up the date that your check is going to be printed, the start date of the period, the end date of the period, and direct deposit if that's something that your company is interested in doing. So if all of this looks correct, you would hit start in the top right corner. And the next screen that's going to pop up is a breakdown of your employees.
Okay.
You said some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time. I'm sure some are hourly and some are salary as well.
Correct.
The great thing about our application is that you can take care of all of those different options of pay, whether it's hourly or salary, in one location, and not have to worry about running that payroll twice.
Okay.
So if you go ahead and click on Karen Davidson right here, this will just give you a breakdown of what it looks like when you click on an employee. You had mentioned that they're handwriting all of their hours, which
Correct.
takes a lot of time when you have to go back and calculate, and as you mentioned, your wife doesn't have that much time. The great thing about our application is you log in your hours through this system.
Okay.
So all you'd have to do is every day you come into work, you punch in. When you leave, you punch out. And when you go to run the payroll, it would tell you exactly how many hours they've worked, if they've done any overtime, or if they've taken any vacation time, as well as any other employee information that you might need.
Sure.
So do you see how this could increase that accuracy with the system instead of having to do all those time cards, as well as save your wife time in the long run?
Oh, big time.
So if all this looks right for Karen Davidson, you would go ahead and hit approve at the top, and then calculate.
Okay.
What this next screen is going to pop up for you is the cash required to run your payroll. It would tell you how much is gross pay, how much goes to taxes, and then a breakdown of how much actually goes to each employee.
This is important because our cash flow is huge at our business.
Absolutely. Do you see how this could be implemented in your business to integrate all three offices by having the ability to have them all sign in one location and your wife be able to go right in and access all the information?
Sure, but what happens, okay, because ADP is a big company.
Absolutely.
So what happens when, I call in and, like I called Time Warner last week.
Right.
And I got passed around 3 or 4 times before I got to where I needed to be. How do I end up not just as a number for ADP?
Well, the great thing about this with ADP is I like to think of my clients as my small business. You have your business, you provide that customer service, and I like to provide the exact same customer service to you. My goal is to always meet or exceed your expectations.
Sure.
On my business card, you have my personal cell phone number, not my office number. Being in the sales world, you're always out running around. I'm sure you understand that.
Right.
So if there were ever to be a question, all you would have to do is give me a call. And I would be happy to answer any question as soon as I can. And if I don't have an answer, I will ask anyone on my team and get that answer back to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I don't want you to feel like you're just another number, because I value all of my customers as if they were my only customer.
Okay.
So does that address your concern on being just another number?
Absolutely. But I guess it brings up another one then. How old are you? 22, 23?
Yeah, 22.
Okay, so you've been with the company for 6 months.
Yes.
I've been doing this for the last 3.5 years.
Absolutely.
This is everything for me and my wife, obviously. Why would I turn my payroll over to someone who's been here for 6 months?
So what I'm understanding is you're worried about the fact that I'm young.
Young and new.
Is it more my age or more my experience with the company?
Experience with the company.
Okay, and I completely understand. I actually went through an extensive training with ADP. It was 6 months, rigorous training, and I actually have a signed certificate of recognition for graduating our training program at top of my class, signed by the ADP president himself.
Okay.
Now, I don't think, being a business owner, you would send someone out there who's going to taint your company name. So he obviously wouldn't send me out here if he thought I was going to come in and ruin someone's payroll. The great thing about our company is we do have that access to other people as well to answer any questions that may come up.
Okay.
But going through this and graduating top of my class is something I pride myself on, and I like to make sure that I represent ADP well. So do you understand, or does this address your concern at least on the fact that I may be new, but I am a product expert in this area?
Sure, absolutely.
Great. And then just back to this payroll, once you had looked at all of this information, if it looked correct to you, you would just hit approve at the top.
Okay.
And then approve payroll.
Okay.
And just like that, your payroll's complete.
Okay.
The great thing with our system is that you can step away from it and come back and not have to worry about any of that information being lost. We are a cloud-based system, so if you walk away and the session times out, which it will do after inactivity, once you log back in, anything that you were doing, it'll pop up right where you left it.
Okay.
So the great thing about this is it would give your wife that time where if she did have to step away, she wouldn't have to worry about where did I leave off calculating those hours, where did I leave off inputting the things into the system.
Sure.
So that's the one thing that we like to pride ourselves on is the time as well as giving you that money back and being mobile, which is clearly important to your company.
Absolutely.
The other thing you had mentioned is doing the payroll and the taxes and the HR on top of the payroll. You mentioned you were using QuickBooks. I actually have QuickBooks for Dummies.
Okay.
And I like to read about everything else that's going on in the world so that I have a better understanding of how my product compares. In chapter 11 of this book, it actually says, the easiest way to do your payroll is to sign up with an outsourced service such as ADP. So if QuickBooks for Dummies is telling you it's smart to sign up with us, it goes into more detail about the time and money that they could save as well as that peace of mind.
Sure.
I'd like to think that we're doing something right. And the great thing about our application, like I told you, is everything's in that one central location. You wouldn't have to worry about Googling any updates on those HR forms because in here you see HR compliance. Every time there's an update, which there's about 150 each year. I didn't know if you were aware of that.
I did not.
But they all pop up right in here, and it would alert you for your payroll as well as your taxes that if there was a change, your employees have to go in and add that extra information.
Sure.
So do you see how that could take the liability off your shoulders in both the HR and the tax area of your business?
Oh, and stress, absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, after everything we've talked about, would there be anything stopping us from having ADP run your next payroll?
Other than I got to talk with my wife, Lisa.
Absolutely.
And then, like I said, I was kind of caught off guard with today's meeting.
Absolutely, I completely understand.
So I think, maybe a follow-up.
That would be great. And I'm going to leave you a couple pamphlets as well as an investment proposal that I've put together for a meeting today. This is just a little bit of breakdown of everything that we talked about. That way, if there's any questions that your wife has, we can look in here.
Okay.
Or you have my number, so I'd be happy to answer any of those for you.
Okay.
So I want to leave that with you so that you can bring it back to her.
Okay.
And then would it be possible to set up a follow-up meeting for next week so that I can come in and answer any questions that you may have?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what day works best for you? I'm actually in this area a lot.
Tuesday or Thursday.
Great. So how does Tuesday around noon sound? Lunchtime, I can bring in some lunch from Panera.
That'd be great.
So if I could just get your signature right here, what this is going to do is send you a Google Calendar reminder for a meeting on Tuesday at 12.
Okay.
I'll call you a half hour before to make sure everything's okay for that meeting, and then that way we can answer all those concerns.
Okay.
Oh, it was so nice meeting with you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. I like your tie.
Thank you. Very good job.
Thank you. Can I just take these papers
Yes,
back from you?
absolutely.
Thank you.
How much time was it?
I had 2 minutes left,
Okay.
so not too bad.
No. Do you want this back too?
If you don't mind,
Yeah, absolutely.
unless you want to hold on to it. Thank you. That was a good trick.
It was which one?
Selling the business.
Oh yeah.
That was good. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, you did very well.
Thank you.
It's all you gotta do is stay on your feet, and you did that.
And do you have a copy of your business card on you? That way I
Actually,
could
yeah.
take it back with me. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, so you actually work for ADP.
I do.
Awesome.
I'm an inside sales manager.
Do you
in
love it?
Chicago. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
What's your favorite part about it?
Company, hands down.
Yeah.
I got offered a couple other jobs that were more money and other stuff, and I ended up
Great.
going to ADP just because of the people.
That's awesome. It seems like a great company from the research that we've done, obviously.
I was gonna say, yeah, you guys have been inundated with it for a while.
We picked our team in December,
Okay.
so we had been training for the competition since December, but we did an ADP role play even before that
Wow.
to see who would be on our competition team. So it's been months of sweeping through all the ADP websites
And going through everything.
I have so much information in here that it's
I was
like
gonna say, look at
I
your
feel-
binder. Holy
it's
cow.
literally like everything from your infographs from your website.
Oh yeah.
We went through and took employee engagement
Just totally
There was
copy and
just-
paste in web pages.
Well, we were putting them together, and I was like, what things do we feel would come up? I mean, we've set up the proposals, but it's like, what if they ask about getting their employees more involved? Like,
Right.
we need to know how it works. I don't want to have to go in there and just
Oh, totally.
make up something different.
And just, yeah, exactly. Just be
Is
like,
that, can I just take this back?
Yes, you
also?
can.
Thank you. that would be like, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Exactly.
I'd like to seem somewhat credible.
No, you did a very good job.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.